First, philosophically,
Yes.
Martin Luther King Day just passed, not long ago.
Mm-hmm.
Martin Luther King today is celebrated. His day is celebrated as a national holiday. In his day, and today he is perceived as relatively tame, certainly not the radical that Malcolm X was, for example. But in his day, Martin Luther King was considered a radical, especially by the white establishment. And generally the arguments used against Martin Luther King was, yeah, you're right, there should be, by supposedly well-intentioned white people was, and by the way, some black people too. You're right, there should be racial equality, there shouldn't be a two-tiered system, etc., but not yet, people aren't ready for what you're doing yet, integration, etc. And what did Martin Luther King say? Justice postponed is justice denied. So, and that's Martin Luther King, who today is not considered a radical, but in his time was. That's generally. And now I want to talk about this issue of marijuana and the way Martellus Bennett brought it up and why there's urgency there and why justice should not be postponed because then it is denied. There is a marijuana problem in this country. There is an epidemic. But it doesn't have to do with the drug itself. It has to do with the laws enforced against marijuana, which disproportionately affect African-American people, Stephen A., and contribute to mass incarceration. It's a Schedule I drug. It shouldn't be. That's based on lies and hypocrisy and nonsense. There's also an opioid epidemic. That's real. That's addictive. It causes enormous damage to society apart from its legal status because of it's actually a problem. And they are prescribed as painkillers. And here what Martellus, I'm not even talking about the recreational use of marijuana, which if alcohol is the standard, obviously marijuana should be legal. It's less harmful than alcohol to the individual and certainly to society. I'm talking about for medical purposes, for medicinal purposes now, which everyone else likes to talk about first, because that's what Bennett's talking about. He's saying, hey, the stuff that we're prescribed is bad for you and dangerous and leads to bad consequences, negative results, not only for the individual, but on a societal level, and that is simply not the case for marijuana. The only reason that marijuana can be described as an epidemic, really, or the main reason, is because of the hypocritical laws and even cultural taboos based on ignorance and based on malice, really, because that's what's behind the propaganda, against it. That is his point. I believe that is an urgent point to make. I believe if you postpone justice, in this case, you're denying it. And I also believe that Martellus and his brother are willing to take certain risks and make certain sacrifices in order to lead on issues such